Welcome to the GoGCast, brought to you by Mad Cats, all about the game. An XSplit broadcaster, simple yet powerful, live streaming and recording. And now, your host, Leah.
Hello and welcome to another GoGCast. I apologize in advance. I had a crazy night last night. And I'm also hyped up on sweet tarts. This is going to be an interesting one. I hope everybody else is rested and energized after the whirlwind week that was E3 2016. But now that the dust has settled, it's time to get a little dirty. That's right, I did it. I did that. That happened. This is episode number 69, and it's only appropriate with such a loaded number that we take the time to tackle a big issue in video games: sex and sexuality. Now, it's hot, it's steamy, it's controversial, and that's why we want to talk about it. Of course, there's going to be some tomfoolery happening here, and some real talk.
Let's talk about sex.
This is a special disclaimer on this episode, even though I know y'all know that this is has a disclaimer on it anyway, because we like to drop a few F-bombs here and there, but, just to be cautious. So in honor of today's cast, we have an awesome panel and a special guest that you can probably see if you're watching this on Twitch or through YouTube. Please welcome Stephanie, our community manager of GOG.
Hi. I was not expecting my name first.
No, because I have a whole intro rolling. It's good. It's in the docket's in order. That's okay. That's funny. We have Simo, our live programming manager, and this here podcast producer.
Hello. Sorry if it's a bit laggy, people. My internet's being a poop, but it's eventually gonna
We'll do our best. And our special guest is musician, avid gamer, video game advocate, and friend of the show, Mr. Voice.
Oh, it's not Batman? Oh, hey. Hey! Hey, Batman, it's not your turn to shine. So sorry. Peace out, Bruce. Peace out.
That's okay.
Spoilers! Oh my god!
Oh no!
Dude!
And Clark Kent is Superman! I know, what have I done?
Oh, that's going to be funny for the for folks listening to this on iTunes. It's okay, he had an action figure. It's all good. This is the third time that Voice has joined us on the podcast. And it's appropriate because it's also the third edition of his Comic-Con panel that is happening this year at Montreal Comic-Con.
Yes, indeed.
It's called Sex, Race, A New Era in Geek
Culture, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to drop the link to the event. So follow along in Twitch chat, and I'm gonna post it on the article for this podcast if people are interested, so people can go track that down. If you want to come hang out at Montreal Comic-Con with us and Voice, you'll be there. Given this wonderful panel that actually has done really well, they moved it from the first edition was in a small room, the second edition was in a big room.
And it was full.
That was a scary room. When I walked into that room, I was like, no.
Yeah, but that room was almost full, man. That was impressive. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
We knew that you were the man to bring on this cast to talk about this hot, burning topic. Before we get into all that hot and bothered action, let's get into some news and see what everybody's playing. So, Voice, starting with you. What are you playing right now?
Well, I just finished, actually last night, I finished Quantum Break. It was one of those games where it was really hard to get into, but then once the story really kicked off, it was really good. The shooting mechanics left a lot to be wanted. It wasn't the best in terms of gameplay, but in terms of storytelling and all that stuff, it's pretty innovative. But now I'm kind of dabbling with Overwatch. I can't lie, I didn't really jump into it, but I'm playing Overwatch.
Yep.
Sweet. Simon, what are you playing?
Overwatch. Pretty much been playing Overwatch
all Overwatch and more Overwatch?
Oh yeah, I've been playing it. Well, less than a couple of my friends already. I think the max is level 100, then you get a star. Some of them already get 100 plus 50 something level, which I think they play only that game forever all the time.
Wow.
But no, I mean Overwatch with a couple of friends. We've been having some really good time. So, game is fantastic. Cannot wait for competitive mode.
Get ready for that. It's coming. Steph, keep playing.
I am still playing Sailor Moon Drops, like always. There's an event going on right now until the 24th, I think, so I've been playing that. And then I finally got GTA installed after weeks of it freezing and just not working, so I played like the tutorial of that, and I'm going to finish it this week. Not finish it, but play it this week finally, so.
Sweet.
Nice.
Me, I've been AFK because of work. And, so I've been playing Sailor Moon Drops as well. But I'm hoping to start in it with AC Syndicate soon, because I think that's the next thing I need to tackle. All right. Time to talk about some news. So we're not going to go too crazy today, because I do want to get into the actual topic, but a few things popped up that I think we have to talk about. So, we all heard that No Man's Sky was delayed, and a little bit of news came out saying that there was a lawsuit between Sky TV and the developers of No Man's Sky, Hello Games. We're curious to know if this was the reason why it was delayed. Voice, you on Snapchat, you were the first person that I actually got this news from last night when you were
Ranting.
internet ranting, and you were freaking out. So do you think this is the reason why it got delayed, or did they just need more time to develop the game?
I think this was a reason for the delay, honestly. And it's really, like my rant, I went off on the fact that people can own words. Like, it's one thing to own, like, a phrase. I get that. But owning the word sky, and the fact, and what's pretty fucked up about it, sorry, I dropped the first F-bomb, was that...
You fucking...
Dang it! The black guy does it! Oh, sort of stereotype. Yeah, but the fact is that, like, I mean, Hello Games, they won the lawsuit, but, you know, Sky went after Microsoft with SkyDrive, which became OneDrive, and they actually won against Microsoft, which is pretty messed up. It's the word sky. Really?
It's stupid.
Like Stephanie said in our Discord channel, which y'all can join, we'll drop the link in chat if you guys don't mind doing that. And also, you can always find it on Twitter and on the site. Steph mentioned that Taylor Swift also now owns 1989. So anybody born that year, you're screwed.
Really?
I don't understand it either. Like, it makes sense to own a specific, like, a special word that never existed before. Like, you make something up. Or a phrase, but to own the word sky, I mean, it's in the freaking dictionary. How do you
that's... Well,
make sense?
No.
And is it only in that country where they have that problem? Because I know that there's, like, ownership rights that certain words or certain phrases and things, but it depends on the country you're in. So maybe Sky TV's where? Europe somewhere?
Yeah, it's Europe.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll have to see. Well, obviously, we have a date, so...
Still not sold.
Yeah, we'll see. Yep. All right, next thing on the list. Crowdfunded game Reroll was abandoned. Backers were not compensated. Now, I find this super interesting, even though we're hearing lots about this. This is actually a Montreal-based developer.
Oh, yeah.
Pixul. YUL is the Montreal airport tag. Now, does this make you guys nervous about funding Kickstarters and Indiegogo campaigns?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Has anybody here funded one
Well,
before?
yes, I have.
You have?
2, 3? 3, yeah, 3. I funded 3. Exploding Kittens, which we played at my place which was fucking fantastic.
Yes.
Ukulele, from everyone from Rare and those people making the game, which I'm not really worried. And the Symphony of the Night, not really Symphony of the Night, but Iga making another Symphony of the Night-esque game, which I backed also. So, like, I didn't really back no names, like, no ones that, like, a new studio that no one really knows about, or even weird products that seem to do something that they don't really do. So, yeah. Nope. That didn't happen. Yeah. But those 3, like, I'm not worried. Like, we've been getting regular updates from the guys at Ukulele and the guys at Symphony of the Night, so I'm not worried. And I got my Exploding Kittens pack, which was fantastic.
That's true. And the Exploding Kittens, they came from a well-known name as well.
Yeah,
right?
the Oatmeal.
Exactly. So, like, they're official brands where it makes sense. And it's kind of funny because we always shit on when the big companies come in and use Kickstarter or Indiegogo as a way to kind of, like, proof test their game to see if people are actually interested. But they're the ones that actually come to fruition, right? The whole point of it is for indie developers and to support cool things. But, like,
well, it seems that often, like, indie developers seem to, like, bite off more than they can chew. Like, they offer those big incentive, that kind of stuff, and I guess like they have a hard time delivering on what they're promising. So, which is, always be careful like who you back, see what the team is, see what their background is. Like if it's just like brand new, yes, of course it's hard to know if a brand new company is gonna do something interesting, but like it's always a risk. You'll never know if you're gonna get your money back or if anything. So.
Fender just brought up a really good point about the lawsuit. He said the way trademark work is you have to own the use of it in limited scope. Taylor Swift owns 1989 in the sense that no one can use the phrase 1989 in musical context, like an album, a concert, a music streaming service, or anything like that. If you made a game called 1989, Swift's trademark wouldn't extend to it. See, this is a little iffy, and this is why I'm wondering if it's a country-specific thing, because Sky TV is a TV channel. No Man's Sky is a game. SkyDrive, which is now OneDrive, is a cloud-based platform for storage. So I don't know there. There's no correlation.
No, none whatsoever.
Yes, media, but nothing the same. So, I'm curious there. And that's why I think it's a country-based thing, and their laws are different than ours in Canada or even in the U.S.
But like even if it's limited, like even like in the whole 1989 situation where it's limited to music, you're still stopping people from using the word 1989 in the title of your song. Like, what?
What's the point? Who cares?
Yeah, eventually we're gonna run out of words. We're gonna name songs Air. Like my new song symbol. This is go buy it.
3 dots.
I can't give it a name because all the names are taken. Thank you, law system.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, we'd be making up words left, right, and center.
Yeah, Blue, my new song. Go buy it. It sucks.
And I'm sure it's already hard enough to go and try and track down URLs. You're trying to come up with a name for things and trying to track down a URL that's not used without putting the or a or dash or something in it, right? Just imagine.
It's like trying to find a name for a character in an MMO. It's impossible. Someone already used that name.
Put in the number 69. Just be done
with it. XX Legolas 428 through 69, whatever.
Oh my. Okay, Twitch is cracking down on view bots by hitting the bot sellers / makers with lawsuits.
Yes.
Yes.
God.
Now, just to clarify for folks who are not familiar, this includes bots that artificially inflate view counts, follower counts, and chat bots as well. Twitch states that these bots are not only detrimental to the community by artificially boosting certain streamers, but it's kind of how some mean individuals used to attack other streamers by denying them partnerships because Twitch then thinks that they're using the bots when they're not, and they're being assholes. Do you think we all agree? Bravo, Twitch. Bravo.
Yeah,
right?
hold on.
This. But is this a little too late? Should this have happened as soon as these things started to pop up?
Yes, it should have.
Yeah?
It's good that it's out now, at least.
Yeah.
I'm more curious of all the partner streamers that are already partnered and they've been rumored to ViewBot.
Definitely
Are they going to go back and revoke their partnership if they're caught? Or what's going to happen with that?
I guess we'll see. It's got to be a hard thing to track down, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're looking into... Oh, what are you laughing at?
Well, it depends. Because, honestly, I watch CSGO, and, more often than not, if you see a Russian girl with, 3,500 viewers, and, nobody in chat interacting, and she has, 5,000 followers, it's pretty fucking obvious that she's viewbotting. It's not... And that's, right now, if you go look at the CSGO Twitch right now, and I swear to Christ, on the top 10, there's at least 2 Russian girl streamer playing CSGO and viewbotting. I guarantee you that right now that's what's happening.
And will be partner.
No. They're not yet. Well, I mean, no one's talking in chat, but there's 3,000 people looking at her. It's I hate viewbotting.
I want to see Facebook crack down on bots on Facebook. It drives me absolutely insane. You get added by 30 people a day, and they have really.
Oh yeah, that's why the algorithm.
So I think I froze. Can't really.
Okay.
You're
we
back.
hear you now. The algorithm. That's the reason why it is the way it is now, because they want it to be less clickbaity. They want it to be less body, all that kind of stuff. And you can see it in your reach in your posts. So if you have 500,000 followers, if you want something that is like a region specific, it might only benefit you like a certain percentage of your followers, because you might have followers all over the world. What is interesting now that they've implemented is targeting for the posts to make sure that you benefit for the right amount of reach. So if you're a Facebook user, big tip here, and you run a page, make sure you put in all those like targeting stuff, because that'll actually help your reach. This is Leah giving you a pro tip.
Leah pro tip.
Pro tip. But yeah, obviously they need to crack down on it, whether or not people will start losing followers. Because do you remember when Twitter, when they went and then all of a sudden where people were getting like shit tons of followers removed? I think that's going to start happening, which is okay, but it's going to be super embarrassing for those people who use the bots. Especially if they're like big Twitch stars.
Well, like, we know, like, I understand why they do it. I don't condone it because it's really freaking stupid. But, like, there's so many people on Twitch right now, and so many people streaming that, like, to stand out, you have to do either something absolutely original and extraordinary and interesting, or you have to kind of do bot to get started, and then people are going to see, oh, that person has like 100 or something people watching them. Maybe there's something interesting happening, so they'll come watch your channel, and then it can become regular. So I understand why they do it. I don't. It's stupid, and it's the wrong way to expand your brand and expand your channel. But you know, the offer right now is so much higher than the demand for it. So that's gonna happen.
Last bit of news, we're going to tackle Independence Day director, you know that movie's coming out, criticizes comic book movies, saying video games are pushing young males away from movies.
What? I don't understand.
So video games are pushing people away. Hold up now. He's criticizing the Marvel movies, essentially. So this is from GameSpot.
I'm getting a bad connection. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but...
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, losing voice. Maybe turn off your video voice. Bear with us a second. So yes, this is from GameSpot. I will read exactly what's in here. Independence Day director criticizes Marvel movies, talks about gaming's impact on film. So essentially, in a nutshell, he's, saying that Marvel movies is ruining films, and games doing the same thing and taking people away from the industry.
That's
so Emmerich
so dumb.
talked about the state of film business and how it's detrimented by the big players and little guys. Not much is left in the middle. It's a bit like what what's happened in every other industry, he says. When you talk about the clothing industry, where are the boutiques? Yeah, they're still there, but it's still very small numbers. Everything else is big franchises like The Gap. Makes total sense. That's where Marvel comes into the mix. So they're essentially pushing out all the big ones. You notice this happened as well with... what was it? Quentin Tarantino had a movie that he wanted released. It was coming out the same day as Star Wars, and some cinemas, because of Star Wars, totally removed his movie from the theaters, and he lost his shit. So that's obviously happening, and you can see that as well happening in games. Let's see. I think this will happen. I think that what will happen is that we will have other forms of entertainment. He said virtual reality will be absolutely big. The gaming industry has already eaten away so much of the young male audience. In movies, it's only going to be big tentpole pictures and hopefully some good pictures for the Oscars. That's it. That's all you'll get. So you can see here, like, obviously we've noticed in the past few years that video games has taken over the media industry. I mean, they're bigger than ever. Less people are going to movies. Now, is this because there's less interest in movies? Is it because you get more bang for your buck out of a video game and you can go and do it more with friends for a longer period of time? Voice, you brought this to our attention. I want to get your 2 cents.
Yeah, can you hear me first of all? Because I'm having a bad connection.
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, good stuff. Yeah, well, first things first, I think the first thing that caught my eye is the fact that he mentioned that what's pushing people away from movies are video games, and that it's young males moving away. And I kind of found that weird that he said young males. Kind of shows that he doesn't really understand how gaming works anymore, like how gaming works or who plays games, because it's not just males. Right. It's the fact that he said that was already like a trigger of like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I do think, obviously I think games you get more value in terms of entertainment, because you have a longer story, you get immersed into the world. And then a lot of movies honestly lately are just kind of rehashing things you've already seen. So it says a lot about not just the types of movies that are coming out, the quality of movies that are coming out, but also people want more. You know, people just want better experiences. But to say it's just young males is, I don't know where he got that from. Is that based on stats, or is that just him just ranting? I don't know.
I think it's him not understanding the industry, but also just being pissed off that people don't want to go to movies. But here's the thing: make a damn good movie, and then maybe we'll go see it. Like we talked about it last week. Yeah, last week about Star Wars. Like during the EA press conference, there were like all these games coming out. I'm gonna have Star Wars fatigue, just like I have Marvel fatigue.
Yeah.
So the same thing could happen with games. You could have game fatigue. We see it when we get like certain games every single year. And we're like,
Assassin's Creed.
Is something well, but they learned.
Yeah, they took a break.
They took a break. Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Call of Duty when they played on E3, like I think everyone around the world rolled their eyes, and then they showed Modern Warfare 4 HD, and people were like, "Yes, that's what we want to see." I'm tired of Call of Duty though.
I want to talk to Steph about Call of Duty. Steph,
No, but let's not
talk
about it.
talk to us about Call of Duty, please.
I don't want to cry publicly. It was so emotional that night.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
No, this is not all I'm trying. No, this is not Call of Duty. No. I'm like, yes, yes, it is. But yeah, that's the thing, right? I think that there's a fatigue no matter what media it is in, no matter what genre, no matter what brand.
Yeah.
Things need space in order. There can't be too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm so against this article because I go to the movies every single weekend. There's not a weekend I miss unless I'm on vacation. So I'm such a movie person that
And there's a movie you want to see every single weekend?
sometimes no, I just go because I love it, and sometimes I'll just
You want.
I go mostly
twice just because.
No, I go mostly for the popcorn. I love popcorn so much.
Popcorn
It's
is
so good.
cheaper if you don't go to the movies for it.
No, but it's better in the movie theater. I don't know what it is about the popcorn there. You're just like, I could eat like 4 bags, like larges.
I already have 2 movie nights planned for this week. I'm going to see The Shallows and The Conjuring. I'm ready.
Oh, the Conjuring. Good.
No.
All right, enough about the news. It's time to get into
Let's talk
our
about
main-
sex, baby. Let's talk about you.
All right,
and me.
so the concept of
talk
sex
about all the good
and
things
sexuality in video games has been a very volatile discussion since 3D became part of games and the subject matter in video games became more mature. Public shaming.
I don't know why I'm getting such a bad signal.
What?
And then he stopped.
Guys, I'm gonna try and get. I'm gonna change locations. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Take your time. Whatever.
Take your time. Da, da, da. So let's start that
I
again.
apologize.
That's okay. Public shaming became the norm of any game that discussed sex and sexuality, and it is only recent years that the medium has addressed it in a way that furthers the story development of a game and expresses sexuality is a normal part of human existence and can be a crucial part of character development. I want to start with the bad and the more controversial ways that sex have been depicted in games first, because that's where the discussion starts, because that's what got us going there to begin with. So let's talk about the bad examples of sex in video games. I mean, it's kind of easy, right? Leisure Suit Larry, picking
Yes.
up hookers in GTA, good old hot coffee mod in San Andreas, PC, that Far Cry 3 scene with Citra, you know, that part where, you know, it's actually giving women power instead, because she kind of, you know, it makes it kind of obvious that the dude is just there to procreate, and then she kills him. Very Black Widow of her. So, yeah, guys, I
was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, I want to get into the discussion on this. Yeah, we just had an MTV Cribs voice. That's kind of So yeah, let's get into it. Bad examples of sex use in video games that obviously, you know, we want to move away from.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with Voice, since he is the connoisseur on such topics with his podcast. Go, sir.
So bad uses of sex in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty much every single game. I think the worst. No, it's not every single game, but I think the worst offender, honestly, is GTA. And I love the GTA series. I just think that they could do so much more with that, because like they literally turn sex into just like a it's not even a mini game. It's just you pick up a hooker and you take into your car, and then you have 3 options. You get a blowjob, or you get something, or you get more something, and that's pretty much it. Like they just turn it into like this joke, if you will, and it's really the meaning to the way they represent women in the GTA games. And it would be really interesting to see like a GTA game that explores the point of view of the hooker, like if the prostitute, right? Let's see her story. Let's talk about that. Like let's see the human side. What she's going through. Let's not just turn it into this kind of a joke that makes all women just look like sexual objects. And that's the thing I don't like, when games just turn sex into this thing that just kind of degrades the value of the act and also of women in general.
Good point. Simon?
Well, to me, like, the worst... Well, if you're using sex to sell your game, then... Well, 1, it's gonna work, but 2, it's really fucking stupid. No, but just take a look at all the Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
That's true. With the real physics.
Like, the real boob jiggle physics! Like, come on. We all know people who buy that play with one hand on the controller and one hand on the you-know-what. So, I mean, I feel that they're gonna keep making those games because people keep buying those games. And people want to see that happening, maybe because they can't get it to happen in real life. So, like, I'm gonna get it a virtual way. And, like, there's so many, my god, like, dating sims there that is just about sex, and they're only selling sex and virtual sex, and that's only what it is, but it fucking sells. That's the worst part. So, I mean,
Sex sells.
As long as those things sell, then people are gonna keep making those games, and they're gonna keep making money. Like, I mean, I don't think they've made an actual Dead or Alive game in the last like 10 years. They only made like 3 beach volleyball games because it probably sells a ton more than their actual regular games. So
Guaranteed.
It's like, as long as people keep buying into it, then they're gonna keep making it. And which is a real shame.
Now, Steph, you brought to our attention when I brought up the idea of episode number 69, you brought to our attention a PS Vita game that's coming out, Genkai Toki 7 Pirates. Now,
Yes.
you want to explain a little bit about this game and why you brought it to our attention?
So the whole reason why I found this game is because there was a GIF or a GIF on Twitter.
No.
Yeah.
We're not starting
No.
this debate right now,
Yes.
Simon.
It's a
called
GIF. Graphic interface format. It's not graphic.
I saw a GIF on Twitter, and the whole video was him rubbing the screen to make the boobs bigger. And basically, when the boobs are bigger, it raises like the strength of the character, and when they're smaller, it raises the speed of the character. And that's like the whole game, and it's just all these female pirates. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's always boobs.
It makes so much sense. So much sense.
Scantily clad in bikini tops that won't hold up their boobs unless they're all silicone.
If someone has the link, you should drop it in chat. I don't have my.
I do.
With the link, drop it in chat. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes on the episode of this on girlsandgames.ca. Guys, I need your opinion on this. Obviously, this is not a game directed at Steph and I. Like, does this hold any interest, or is it just pure lol?
I don't see it being. First of all, no, it's not something that I want to go download and be like, I'm gonna play this. And even if you do, it's maybe fun for 2 seconds because it's like, oh, look at what I'm doing, and then you're like, I feel like an idiot, I'm an asshole, and you just delete the app. Like, if you have that on your phone, it should be embarrassed it's on your phone, first of all, you know. Or it's a PS Vita game, right? So you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed that it's on your PS Vita.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably play it just to try it out.
That's it. Is it just the pure novelty of it enough to get someone to drop the money?
It's gonna work. It's gonna sell tons of copies.
It's that absurd.
Yeah.
I'm already I want to film this. Like, I just want me to film.
I thought you were gonna say I already pre-ordered.
Watch it. Put the PS Vita back on the map. Like,
oh
what?
my god! for those guys who follow Kind of Funny and Greg and Colin talk about PS Vita Island, lots of folks are going to come to visit on PS Vita Island during this time.
Seriously.
Oh my. All right. So let's move on to some good examples of sex in video games. One of the biggest ones that I know of is Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, Voice, this is a game that comes up a lot in your panel. I know last year the panel, it was actually a major focus because it deals with transgender, pansexual, homosexual, like the whole kit and caboodle.
Yep. Well, pretty much when I prepared for that panel, all my notes said in one big paper was Dragon Age Inquisition. That was it. There was nothing else. I was just like, that's all I'm going to talk about. But no, like, I think BioWare really learned from Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origins, about how to represent, not just, males and females in games, but also how to represent sex and how to make it not just this, it's just, a guy and a girl, this heterosexual, situation. They actually explored, males and males, females and females. I mean, you could really play the game the way you wanted to play it, and it wasn't poking fun of it. It really was addressing some really complex issues. Like, for example, they addressed it's a Dorian, I think that's his name, right? The homosexual character, and they really went into the storyline and how being that affected his growing up and how it affected him as a character. Mm-hmm. See, games that do that go into the topics and really explore them, I applaud them because they do more than just I'm going to have sex with a character and that's it. No, there's something more to it. There's a weight to it.
And like I feel that the way that Dragon Age presented it is that they didn't like make a big deal out of it. I feel that like it was like a homosexual relationship was just as normal and just as like gratifying than any other heterosexual relationship in the game. So that's what I liked about it, and that's what I felt that they did a really good job in presenting it, is that it was really presented as that's just what it is. There wasn't like big, oh my god, it's homosexual. No, that's what it is, and that's normal, and that's so I thought that was really cool the way that they presented it.
Yeah. Also, even and I played a lot of The Witcher 3, and I keep saying that they had good and bad examples of sex in that game, but like they were really honest. Like Gerald is his character, and he loves women and he loves sex, and but they explored from that perspective. It wasn't like they weren't trying to degrade the situation. It really was just like, this is the honest portrayal of this character's view on sex. Whereas like games like GTA aren't being honest. They're just showing you like this male fantasy of what sex is that just kind of turns a woman from a person into this object. That's a big difference between games like GTA and The Witcher.
I mean, I played Witcher 3 and like there's this complicated relationship between him and all the girls in the game, and like whenever there is a sex scene, it's always it's always built up. There's always a story. There's always something happening. It's just not sex for sex. There is brothels.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. As I said, so there's like good and bad examples.
Yeah, they are brothels, and even in the brothels,
it is. Yeah.
So there's other examples like in Mass Effect 3, where the alien scientist Liara appears in all three versions of Mass Effect and is attracted to Shepard no matter what his gender or her gender is, which is really interesting and had to be kind of groundbreaking for Mass Effect, because that's even before Dragon Age and The Witcher. So that's an early one. Something that has come up recently is Stardew Valley, which a lot of people are playing, and in part of the game you can romance, and there were only heterosexual relationships and very limited characters that you could do that with. Since then, the developer has been requested by fans. Now, it's only one dude making this game, but he has stated that because of all the requests, he's going to put in different options in Stardew Valley to allow other relationships to happen, be them homosexuality or straight. It's up to the player to decide. Also giving more people for you to romance, because there was only so many, and but then again, there's only a few people in town.
You don't want to romance the mayor, like.
Why not?
Because he's weird.
He's got all the power.
That's true. If you're a gold digger.
You know what's funny? In Fallout, you can romance every single character, and none of them are the wives. You're just like, how is that even possible? How did like none of them speak to each other? You could actually go with every single character, and for some reason, you get away with it.
Because Bethesda.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
don't talk about it
for cheating.
No, I mean, there's no repercussions. You can go with anyone male, female. Well, at least you can go with anyone. You know, if you're male, female, but there's no repercussions whatsoever. You can tell every single person you love them, that you're totally in love with them, and it's like, yep. In fact, I think you are encouraged to do that because you get an achievement for doing that.
And they should put that into a game. That would be really interesting. I want to say hello to ladies of the roundtable who just showed up in chat. Hey, ladies. But yeah, they should add that to Fallout or to another game where, you know, your relationships do have repercussions.
Yeah.
Because that's real life.
Well, that's what they did in Dragon Age. Like,
Yeah.
you can't
they did?
romance. Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
romance multiple people. And when you do, some people
And I
get
don't wanna
mad at
spoil-
you or.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but I know that in The Witcher 3, if you try and romance Trish and
Yennefer.
what's her name again?
Yennefer.
Yennefer. That
Oh, yeah.
it ends up backfiring on you.
Oh, that's yeah. That was fantastic.
Oh, you tried it?
Yes.
He's like, damn it!
Simon would.
Dude, I mean, no, I'm Team Triss, but I mean, I was like, whatever, I'll just fucking do
Try
it.
your
Who
options.
cares? Yeah, like whatever, man. You know, it's there. Let's do it. Let's try it.
Here's
No.
an interesting one. The Sims, you know, everybody's played a little bit of The Sims. And it's developed that you can have same-sex relationships in the game, and good old Russian government slapped their game with an adults-only label for The Sims 4 because it allowed for same-sex marriage. That's a little extreme.
It's the Russians.
Also Russia.
Oh,
I
Slav.
Sorry, Slav.
No comment.
Yeah, tell Slav to get his shit together. Come on,
He's
man.
over there too. Get him to figure it out.
Jesus Christ. Well, actually, like we're talking about good examples of sex in video games, and one of the first like story-driven game that I played was Fahrenheit 551, 451.
Fahrenheit.
And no, well,
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy, which like was a great, like very story-driven game, and a bit like Heavy Rain, those kind of games, and like there's this love story between the main character and one of the other protagonists, and like it eventually ends up in a sex scene, like on the metro or whatever, but. The way that like it's presented and the way that it's brought up, it makes sense. And to me, like that's like the earliest that I can remember. Like that game came out in, I want to say like early 2000, maybe even earlier than that. And that was like one of the first sex scene that I was like, okay, it's there because it makes sense with the story and it makes the character relationship progress, and it's just not there for sex. And I feel that often that's what happens in video games. It's just sex for sex, where it doesn't really bring anything interesting to the table and it doesn't make anything more complicated between characters and whatnot. And I thought that like for a game that came out a while ago, that I thought that was really, really interesting. And like only recently, like Voice said, like in Mass Effect and Dragon Age and Witcher, that it started happening again. So
Yeah.
you can trace it back much farther. Like there's not only in like Custard's. I don't know if you know Custard's Revenge. It's like an Atari game where like you're like a jacked up cowboy, and like you want to say like you pretty much come on everything on Indians to try to save like your dad. It's fucking retarded. It's just like it makes no fucking sense. So yeah, that.
Well, oh, somebody.
I don't know what just happened.
Somebody vibrated.
My bad.
So also, porn companies now, like Montreal's own Mind Geek, are making porn video games based on mainstream games like Overwatch, Metal Gear Solid, Bioshock Infinite, and those are the games. Now, we've also seen porns, and cease and desists have been handed out by, especially Blizzard for Overwatch, for porns that are being made around these games, around their characters. But now we're getting porn video games.
Yep.
So obviously these are directed to, 18 plus.
Mhm.
And is there anything wrong? Do you guys feel there's anything wrong with that? I mean, to each their own. There's, it's still a form of entertainment and a way to make money, but is it wrong to make porn video games where the only sole purpose is sex and to get off?
I think it's a much bigger conversation, because then you start talking about, is porn wrong, which is like, that's even a conversation I can't have yet.
Okay, well then,
right?
How about making it about a video game? Is it wrong that it's taking a mainstream character, and converting them into a sexualized object when that was not their original intention from the developer?
I think it's interesting because from a legal perspective, because they're taking characters and then they're just like repurposing for them for their own benefits. From that perspective, it's definitely wrong, because they're taking advantage of the developers who went out of their way to make these characters and are now making money off that because those characters are known. And then to sexualize characters that are not meant to be that way, it's again, it just shows you how a lot of people view women in general, that women are sexual objects. And take a character, it doesn't matter how deep she is, like Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite. You just take that character, you just sexualize her, and then all that she's now turned into is something to have sex with, right? So it just degrades what the intent was initially. So from that perspective, it's weird.
I mean, well, I agree 100% with Voice that it's, you pour your heart and soul into those characters, and you want to make them lively and you want to make them interesting, and then you go online and all you see is Rule 34 Tracer, Rule 34 Widowmaker. So, and yes, it must be super disheartening to see that kind of stuff happen, but it is bound to happen. Like, Rule 34 exists for a reason. Like, for those who don't know, for those who are not in the know, Rule 34 is one of the rules on the internet which states that if it exists, then there is porn of it. No exceptions. No exceptions. Yeah. So, I mean, one, it's bound to happen. Two, there's definitely a public for it and like a forum for it. Tons of people love it. Tons of people idolize these characters and want to know them, to see who they are and everything. So, it would only make sense in a way that they want to see them naked or whatever. But it's just like, back then, the TV, when you're watching TV, you saw Pamela Anderson on Baywatch, you're like, holy shit, she's fantastic, I want to see her boobs. And then you got to see her boobs, you're like, so, but like, it's this, in my opinion, it's the same thing. So, is it bad? Probably. Is it, but it's inevitable. It's gonna happen, like it or not. Blizzard likes it or not, and it's gonna happen with every character that's out there that's ever been created. You're gonna see them, and that's gay, hetero, whatever kind of relationship they want to have. It happens. It's gonna happen. So. But
it's like, you make a good point, but like there's a double standard that's brought, like you said, like people will say like, oh look, it's this character from Overwatch, I want to see her naked, but then they'll not have that same mentality when it comes to like Nathan Drake, for example. They're not gonna be like, oh, they should make a porn with Nathan Drake. Like, that's not gonna happen, because again, it takes that one standard where like all the female characters, it's okay to degrade them. When it comes to the male characters, we stay away from that.
Okay, here's a question. So, and this may be more of a question for Steph and myself, even though I'm posing it, which seems kind of weird.
Come on, ladies. Get involved.
But do you, or maybe it's just maybe because it's more in the forefront that males over-sexualize women. We sexualize men just the same way. Or is it just not as forward? Like, I mean, like Nathan Drake is hot, right? I'd love to see Nathan Drake naked.
There is. I can send you pictures, Leo.
Thank you. But still, is it because there's so much focus on the female side of it because that's the history? Probably. That you feel that way? I mean, obviously it exists, right?
No, there is. There definitely is male.
I'm sure if you Google it, there's going to be probably a lot less like instances of that happening versus women.
No,
God,
for sure.
my phone's going crazy. Sorry about that. That was going.
Steph, what do you think of all this? Like, obviously, we swoon over guys in video games.
Yeah, like from like if I was a developer, I'd be unhappy about the situation. But as a business person, this is genius. You're gonna be swimming in money from this.
That's it.
So I don't know. Like, I personally don't see anything wrong with it because I'm not really sensitive about that topic. If you wanted to see your favorite video game naked and doing what they do, go for it. Whatever. It's just another genre. There's tons of genres out there. It's just another one. It's just copyright issues. I don't know. Changes something up. I don't know. Just change a little thing up.
Change the character. A letter in a word. Yeah. Oh wait, you copyright words. What are we talking about? All right. So, years back now, the whole reason that Blu-ray won the HD run over HD DVD was because of porn.
Yep.
Porn was the reason why.
Same thing with VHS and Betamax.
There you go. So here's the question. Now at E3 this year, there were VR headsets with demos of porn. We're all debating now whether VR is actually going to be a thing.
It will.
Because VR is a very intimate, personal experience, do you think porn will actually make it work?
Yes. Yes, oh my god, of course. I mean, I was super on edge about VR, and okay, just look at 3D, and 3D is, in my opinion, it's gonna die soon, and I think it's mostly because porn didn't really embrace it because they didn't see anything interesting about it. Whereas now, with VR...
Wait, hold up. Is it because 3D, everybody's watching it?
What do you mean?
Think about it. Like, if you're watching a 3D movie, you have to watch it on your big TV. You can't just computer. You can't just be, can't be like under the covers with it. You have to be watching
you can't have your whole VR set and just like super jacked in the middle of the freaking living room either.
VR is a very intimate experience, Simon. I can voices like laughing at me. Do you think that's the reason? Maybe
it is. Maybe, you can do it in your bedroom, door closed, headset on, Kleenex in your hands. Maybe.
But someone walks in, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, that's it. It's perfect.
Could you imagine, because in the past, you walk into a room, some 15-year-old is jacking off, and he catches you looking, he stops. But if he's on VR, he may not even be aware of you being there. So he's still going. You're just like, this is so wrong for everyone.
Well, this is awkward.
Okay, now there's a whole new industry now to make sensors to put on doors so that you get alerts.
Oh my god, Leah.
I'm serious.
Okay,
So stop jacking off.
Done.
No, VR porn is what is gonna make VR mainstream, in my opinion. I think that the fact that they're really getting into it and they really want to sell their own product, that kind of stuff, for sure it's definitely gonna work, and just for that, the porn industry is gonna bring it, and then everyone's gonna be able to have a VR headset at home. For sure, it's gonna happen. That's for sure.
Everybody's gonna try it at least once.
Oh yeah, I want to try it. I'm super
try too. I'm curious.
I want to try it.
Me too.
I want to try it from the men's perspective, though.
But how weird must it be if you're at a huge conference and you have a demo?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, all the guys at E3 trying it on, I mean, you feel like you're into it. Like, why would you want to go try it on and have a boner in front of 50,000 people? How is that interesting? I mean, Jesus, I don't know.
I'll try it.
Yeah, well, you girls can, it's more easily concealed. Let's just put it that way, okay? Unless the guy's wearing freaking, baggy pants. Even then, I mean, it's fucking weird.
That'll probably make it worse, though.
It's super weird.
Too loose.
Being aroused in front of 50,000 people. I don't know. It's just, don't try that at a VR conference, people. Don't do that. You're just gonna look weird if you try it, so just don't, alright, please? I'm telling you.
At least they'll know you liked it.
Well, yeah.
He clearly likes it.
Yeah, I think this guy's really into it. Jesus Christ, man.
All right, so we've kind of gone around the circle of all the different things when it comes to sex and sexuality in video games, touched on a little bit. Actually, yeah, we did. So I want to know, how do you guys think we could evolve to make this better? I mean, obviously we think there's a place for porn.
Yep.
We obviously if you're an age of consent and you want to partake in something like this, power to you. I mean, that's part of it. You might as well explore your sexuality. How can we continue this discussion so that it does not become something that comes back in the news again about, the mod from Grand Theft Auto? Is it just now because, we have so many video games out there and people are more used to them that we won't? Or do we have to change certain things to make sexuality a more comfortable subject to deal with in video games?
I don't know. I think because more and more people are playing games now. There was a point in time when it was a male-dominated audience, but now it's females, it's not just Caucasians, it's, people, different ethnicities. Suddenly, people want to see themselves represented properly in games. So I think as games become more and more mainstream, then things that before weren't seen as issues will become issues, because now these people are playing these games and saying, why is it that I play a game and every single African-American character is a thug? I'm a thug. I think as more people play and things become more mainstream, any issue that was easy to hide under the carpet suddenly comes to surface.
That makes
Steph?
sense. Yeah.
I had a thought and now I lost it. Simon, go first.
Okay.
No, well, like you said, there's always going to be an industry for it, and like there's always going to be mods. So just look at PC, you know, just look at a game like Oblivion or freaking Fallout or whatever, and just go on any mod site, and the most popular mod is always sex mods every single time, sex and naked mod. So yes, it's here to stay. How can we make it better? I mean, it's hard to say, because I mean, like it or not, yes, it's always going to be like sex in video games always going to be targeted to males, because we're the audience, we're the main audience for that, even though that's not true, but to them, you know, we are the main audience for that. So how do you make it better and more inclusive for women? It's hard to say, but like you said, Leah, it all comes down to how it is with your sexuality, and how is the society it is with sexuality and sex in general. Which, you know, depending on where you live, that could be, you know, polar opposites. Just, you know, if you live here in Canada or Quebec or Montreal or whatever, like, it's very, very, very liberal, and it's just like, you're gay, who cares, you know, what the hell, you know, just go, you know, just down south in the US, and like being gay is still something that is, you know, shunned upon and difficult to represent in video games, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, game developers are still going to have to do like what EA does and Mass Effect does and Dragon Age does, and keep including that in their games as an option, just as normal, as something that's just there because that's what happens in real life, and that's just what it is. Because
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like the video games are headed in the right direction. You don't see a lot of games like GTA anymore, where it's like hookers and strippers. You see a lot of female-dominated characters that aren't super sexualized. They're usually badass women, and we're relating to that more. You're seeing that everywhere. Like in E3, it was a lot of female-dominated characters, and we were all going crazy. So I think it's headed in the right direction, anyways. So.
just look at Lara Croft.
Mm-hmm.
Total reason.
And even if they show, like, you know, prostitutes or, you know, strippers, like, we live in Montreal. I know a lot of strippers just because I live in Montreal, right?
And I know there are hookers down like, on the corner right now.
Right? And it's like, so I just know them because, like, some of them are friends, and they do more than just strip. They go to school, they're studying this, they're strong, they're dancers, you know, they're piano players. There's a lot more to them than just, I'm a stripper. Like, I want to see games that, for example, if a game like GTA is going to have a stripper and you're going to talk about that, then talk about other facets of women in the game. Don't just show that one single box and then reinforce that image to, like, any, you know, growing up person that's all girls are good for is to look at naked and fondle and then take her back to your apartment after you've played her for, you know, so many minutes on. And, you know, it's just want to see more out of our games that are just taking better ethical stances.
Yep.
Good thing that we shared, Stephanie shared on our Twitter account today, was the new Barbie game developer character, which is a lot less sexualized than traditional Barbies are. Mattel came out with a whole line of girl Barbie dolls that range in race, body shape, and occupation, which is really interesting and to see, especially coming from something like Barbie, which, you know, its history. So yeah, the same kind of thing needs to happen in games when it comes to both female roles, male roles, because I know males can be, you know, always given that opinion or that stereotype of being the tough, big, burly man, and if you're any other type of character, you could be considered wussy, and that's really not the case, or less courageous because you're portrayed a certain way. The character is. But yeah, I think we're starting in the right direction. We see stuff like, what's that episodic game that just came out not too long ago that got like a shit tons of awards last year? Oh, the one with the girl and the two.
Oh, Square Enix, right?
No, damn it. It escaped me. It'll come to me eventually, and I'll put it in here. But yeah, like, we're seeing more games like that. I know Gone Home deals with it. Last of Us Left Behind deals with it a bit. So yeah, we're seeing it, and it's coming more to the fruition, but also in the mainstream media and the conversations that are coming up. These are topics that we're talking about on a normal basis. You know, art mimics life, therefore they're things we're going to see in video games as well.
Yeah.
So, it leaves things really interesting to be discussed on panels like you're going to be having, Voice, at Montreal Comic Con. So for those who are interested in that panel, you should all check out the Facebook event for it. I will post it in the chat again and post it in the article for this podcast. It's always a really good conversation. You have awesome people talking on the panel. Do you want to give a little bit of a description about who's going to be there and what we're going to be dealing with?
Yes, indeed. So obviously, if you guys know me, you're going to know that Jess Abrams is going to be there. Sean Baichu, is it Sean Baichu or Baichu? Baichu, Amber Goldfarb, Catherine Ashley. So it's going to be really, and I love that the panelists, because they're all from different walks of life, different career paths, and then we just kind of talk about it from a very honest point of view. So I'm actually really excited to talk about this one, and I like the fact that we're expanding beyond just gaming for this one. We're going to get into geek culture as a whole, because I think we've really talked about what it, about this topic in games, but we never really addressed it in other forms of media. So it'll be interesting to do that.
Just a note, Miss Badonka helped me out. Life is Strange.
There you go.
Why that was escaping me, I still have that on my playlist to jump into, but that intrigues me. Yeah, that's going to be great, Voice. I'm really excited about it. It's one that we always film too, so that people can experience it afterwards, because I think it's a good discussion post-podcast.
And I just think that the more we talk about things like this, then things like and it's really sad, but like the Orlando shooting, things like that don't have to happen if we become more comfortable talking about these things and making people less afraid of things that they don't understand.
But religion, man. This is a whole other topic.
Yeah, that would be an interesting topic for a podcast, religion in games. Might have to bring that one up. All right, in closing, I want to fill you in on all the cool stuff that's happening with us. For those of you who might have missed it on Friday, we announced Press Play, Every Gamer Has a Music Story, which is a interactive concert that is happening at Montreal Comic Con on Saturday night. That's July 9th at 6 p.m. Me and Kat will be hosting that, which will include performances by Voice and Jess Abrams and Sooks, which is going to be super awesome, with the video game orchestra, or l'orchestra,
OVMF?
OVMF as well. So they'll be playing all the tracks and helping out Voice and Jess and Sooks with their stuff as well. You must be super excited.
I'm beyond stoked. It's been a lifelong dream to perform in an orchestra, so to just know that there's gonna be an orchestra behind me playing music, and then also playing my favorite songs like Mario, and I can't. I will cry. I'll probably be on stage crying, and I'll just be like, I'm done. Kill me now.
So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to girlsongames.ca plus Montreal Comic Con. It's a special ticketed event, but it's not that expensive. It's only $15. So yeah, you got to go grab those tickets, because they will go fast.
Yep.
Because it's, we've got to limit the size of the room, but it's going to be really entertaining. I'm super stoked. What else is going on? Reminder of Twitch this week. So of course, this is Monday. We do this podcast every Monday at 8 p.m. Tomorrow, we've got Catholics playing Overwatch, Simon's playing Rocket League on Wednesday, Doom for City Chan on Thursday, and Destiny for Alice on Friday. All them things are at 8 p.m. as well. 8 p.m. is the magical hour here on Girls on Games Twitch channel. So we also have a Discord fan chat that we opened up. I will be posting the link in the Twitch chat, and of course it always lives on Twitter and our website. We really, really would love you guys to come hang out with us. It's a lot of fun. We're always talking about video games and other cool shit that is happening. You get a little more insider information on what goes on in Girls on Games there too. And we love having discussions about topics like these with you, and all the other cool stuff that happens around the internet, news, and all that jazz. So thank you once again for coming to hang out with us on Girls on Games podcast. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Simon, for producing and being awesome. Thank you, Voice, for coming to hang out with us.
Thank you for having me. I don't know what I'm doing right now.
If you want to learn more about Girls on Games, you can track us down at girlsongames.ca. We've got Twitter, we got Facebook, YouTube. This is also on iTunes and audio
In a few minutes,
and then we also put the video up on YouTube, so you can
days.
watch our pretty faces afterwards. And that pretty much wraps it up for us. We will see you next week. It's been wonderful. Have fun playing games. Love you all.
Love you all. Bye, guys.